Good evening and thanks for joining us for 41 NBC News at 11. I'm Ariel. Tucker Sargent has the night off. To our top story tonight at 11, we need to warn you some of these images you are about to see are graphic. At this hour, Russia has moved all of its staged combat power into Ukraine, and the Russian military is increasing bombardments on major Ukrainian cities. Cole Higgins has the latest.
Bodies lie amongst the rubble of bombed buildings. Russia's relentless onslaught of lethal military strikes have turned once peaceful Ukrainian neighborhoods into a horrifying hellscape.
The world is haunted by these images of homes, hospitals, schools, orphanages being destroyed, demolished in front of our eyes. Child cancer patients unable to receive chemotherapy, babies delivered in basements instead of maternity wards, and hundreds of thousands of civilians without access to electricity, for heat, or drinking water to stay alive.
No one in Europe expected to see this happening again after what happened in World War II.
Despite persistent attacks by Russian forces, the Pentagon says they believe Russia hasn't made the progress it thought it would in taking over Ukraine.
They are having morale problems. They are having supply problems. They are having fuel problems. They are having food problems. They are meeting a very stiff and determined Ukrainian resistance.
The Pentagon believes Russian forces are now seeking to recruit foreign fighters, including Syrians, to aid in their deadly invasion.
It's interesting that Mr. Putin would have to find himself relying on foreign fighters here. Who they are going to be, how many they're getting, what they're going to pay them. All of that we don't have perfect visibility on.
I'm Cole Higgins reporting.
Russia proposed a ceasefire for 5 Ukrainian cities starting Tuesday at 2 a.m. Eastern Time to allow for people to flee Ukraine via humanitarian corridors. Ukraine has not yet agreed to the proposal, and the Pentagon says it has no way of knowing if Russian fighters will comply. Here in Middle Georgia, jury selection began today in Peach County in the murder trial of DeMarcus Little. He's the man accused of killing his girlfriend, Fort Valley State University student Anitra Gunn. This is video from a 2020 court appearance when then 23-year-old was charged with criminal damage to Anitra's property. He was accused of smashing her apartment windows and slashing her tires on February 5th. Fort Valley police say 23-year-old Anitra Gunn was last seen on Valentine's Day in 2020, and her family reported her missing the next day. Search crews later located her in Fort Valley, and they later located her car, in Fort Valley, and then they found her body partially recovered in woods in Crawford County. An arrest warrant says Gunn was strangled to death. A Lawrence County man is sentenced after lying to get a COVID-19 disaster relief loan and then using the money to buy a collectible trading card. 31-year-old Vinath Adamseen was sentenced to 3 years after pleading guilty to wire fraud. Court documents state he applied for the loan in July of 2020. He received $85,000 a month later and then used nearly $60,000 of the loan money to buy a Pokemon trading card. A woman is recovering after Bibb County investigators say her ex-boyfriend shot her during an argument. Damon Taylor is charged with aggravated assault. According to the Bibb County Sheriff's Office, Taylor and Kendrika Tharp got into a fight this morning at the Red Carpet Inn on Riverside Drive. During the argument, Tharp was shot. She's now listed in critical but stable condition at Atrium Health Navicent. A man shot outside of his home on Leon Drive North last month died from his injuries. The Bibb County Sheriff's Office says 24-year-old Mandrell Curry of Macon died today at Atrium Health Navicent. Investigators say someone shot him in the upper body on Monday, February 21st. The investigation is ongoing. A Georgia woman is dead following a crash involving a horse trailer in Houston County. Georgia State Patrol says 48-year-old Tammy Bradley of Dillard died in the crash. It happened just before 4 o'clock Saturday morning along I-75 North. The incident report shows Bradley was driving a Toyota Tacoma truck and pulling a horse trailer when she pulled onto the shoulder and lost control of the vehicle. The truck hit a guardrail and overturned, ejecting Bradley. GSP says Bradley was hit by another vehicle driving through the crash scene. In other local news, a build-to-rent housing community is coming to Warner Robins. The cottages of Warner Robins is part of the growing trend of housing communities that are exclusively rent-only. We spoke with Capstone Communities about what the property will offer. The rent-only homes range from 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms. And their communities range from young professionals to families.
You've got transitional people. I expect in Warner Robins, because of the base, you have people there between, 2 to 4 years in the town who are going to choose not to want to buy. And right now it's hard to buy. There's not a lot of product and not a lot of availability.
The cottages are expected to be ready by the beginning of 2023. You can find a link to their website in the article for the story on 41NBC.com. And in school news, Lisa Garrett is running for re-election for the Bibb County Board of Education Post 8 at-large seat. She was at the Bibb County Board of Elections this morning for qualifying. Garrett retired as a teacher from the Bibb County school system, and she says the board she's been a part of hasn't raised taxes in 3 years, and they've worked on getting graduation rates to the highest it's been in years.
Me being able to grow up in this system, come back and serve this system, and then this is sort of like the icing on the cake to serve in this capacity.
Garrett says she's also been a strong advocate for children with disabilities, especially during the pandemic. There are several elections happening this year, and the primaries are on May 24th. And Bibb County Board of Education member Daryl Morton officially qualified to run for re-election today. Morton has served on the board since January of 2015. During his tenure, Bibb County's high school graduation rate has risen from 59% in 2014 to 80% today. Morton has also been selected 5 times to serve as a board officer, including 3 terms as board president. Still ahead on 41 NBC News at 11, Macon-Bibb Mayor Lester Miller will soon announce the names of those who will be serving on the Bicentennial Committee. Details on one of the people expected to be on the committee next. Plus, the Mercer women's basketball team punched its ticket to the March Madness tournament. Our Shaz Pirani will have more on the team's dominating weekend later in sports.
In high definition, this is 41 NBC News at 11.
Welcome back. Macon-Bibb Mayor Lester Miller is expected to announce the names of the Bicentennial Committee tomorrow. One of the names Mayor Miller suggested for the committee is Alex Habersham. He's the publisher of the Macon Black Pages and has lived in Macon for most of his life. Habersham shared his feelings about being nominated and what he hopes the committee will accomplish.
I'm proud to serve because I am hopeful that we will be able to initiate some programs, some ideas, and some thoughts that will help pull this community together so we can move it forward by leaps and bounds.
Habersham says it's still unclear what he will be doing on the committee. Now it's time to get a look at our weather. Here's 41 NBC AccuWeather Chief Meteorologist Cecilia Reeves. Cecilia, I know it was kind of gross out today, but hopefully the rest of the week looks a little bit better.
No, we're talking about rain for a lot of the week, but we're getting a break right now. This is